Hi, people. This is Gio at Roundtable and Gio's Real World. And today I'll be talking about DC's comic book, and I'm introducing the guy who started this whole series and ended up with it. Dark Side. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now the main writer, well, the writer of the whole series, from because it's a six sectoral of series, is Tom Taylor. And the main artist of all of them, which is my favorite of all the other artists, is Trevor Hershini. Okay, and the first series is called DCEASED. It's a 1 to 6. Okay, and the whole series I rated as an R because it's for mature readers, in a sense that there's graphic parts. In the first one, you see DCEASED pulling the tongue out of Cyborg's mouth because the Darkseid doesn't want to hear him talking no more, mumbling and everything and that. To get the anti-life equations. In the same series over there, the first two gets contaminated as heroes, Nightwing and Red Hood, and also after the series later on was Batman who gets contaminated, gets killed also. In the whole series, all the who knows you do, who gets contaminated, who dies, who does this. It's amazing, okay? If you're a first-time reader of comic books, you know your comic books, and you goes, I don't know if I should, I don't know that much. This is the best. Because you know just mainly the characters. It's incredible because the dialogue are phenomenal. The people who make jokes, they're funny, like the Creeper and what's the other one? There's a couple of people in there they're hilarious. So the whole storyline is incredible. It has to do with the anti-life equation, and there's and Batman. Yeah, he solved it right away. It has to do with the blood and digital imagery. And you see Batman, when he found out what the virus is, he did a thing to decontaminate his house, but he knew it was a bit too late. He goes, who got contaminated? And it was Nightwing and Red Hood. So it's well done. Superman, he changes looking things differently. Because once he found out what was the reason, how this contamination can go through from one to another person, as soon as he went to outside the safety zone, he used only X-ray visions, so he cannot get contaminated by imagery because he goes in faster than a speeding bullet. So a little blink, he might catch something, and bang, he gets turned right. So the whole storyline is incredible. The first one, and it ends up being Earth 2. Then number 2 is called DCEASED, a good day to die. It's a one shot, and this one here is about time travel with the one of the main character, Booster Gold, who disappears because there's no sense, there's no future. He doesn't exist. Number 3, the third installment. It's a 1 to 3. It's called The Unkillables. It's basically based about villains. The main one being Deathstroke, that he gets infected. But then he kind of cures himself from this virus, and he's pulling a team, or he gets involved with it's called Savage, Vandal Savage, and there's a conspiracy. Like some villains are still villains, and some villains become superheroes because this has to do with an orphanage of people, kids, and everything. That the whole story changes, and it's well done, kind of sense, you know. And there's Cassandra Cain in there. You know, she's the war machine. Number 4, it's okay, and number 3, as I said, the one from 3, the Unkillables. It just says that sometimes villains could be some of the best heroes that ever existed. Okay, just that the path they took, for whatever reason it happened. Number 4, Dead Planet, it's called. It's 1 to 7, and this is basically about the cure that Cyborg found out before he got his head plucked out from Wonder Woman because she had the lasso of truth around him, so he has questions. But then, as stupid as he was, he lets it go. So as soon as he let it go, the lasso kind of like let Wonder Woman free. She just turned behind and she just whipped his head out, you know. So that was number 4, and number 5 is War of the Undead, and it's mostly about Erebus, the god of the virus, but it's not a virus. It's really this god, how he is able to infiltrate from where he's from, let's say this dark matter verse, to get into our universe. And you're like in the Guardians, and all the old gods knows who he is, kind of saying. So basically, of all this thing, I'm going to go fast through everything. It's spectacular, amazing. The dialogue is incredible. There's like the creeper. Some part he's hilarious with the tree lobster kind of jokes. Each character shines in their own way. Big Barda with Mr. Miracle Man, like the little cute romantic with how the people change, this and that, who gets the contaminated, who doesn't, because after finding the cure, some people do get healed themselves, and some people feel the regret that they killed people because they thought that was the way of surviving, but then again, you don't know the truth. And then that moment, you do what you think to survive, because these people are like kind of the antimatter equation. They're contaminated, so they're like zombies. So you're gonna do give them flowers. Oh, look, let's take a peace meeting, and we'll talk about it later on. Maybe we'll find a solution to heal you. No, it's a life and death situation. That moment right there. So you cannot hesitate for later on. But as it says, Tom Taylor is amazing. Everybody takes consequences differently. It's like Batman and Superman. Superman is too much Mr. American pie and milk. Well, Batman is like a general. He's very logical. He goes, what's the best result to get the best everything? And that's why Tom Taylor is he's genius, because he got rid of Batman right away. Because he dies in the first series. Why? Because if Batman was alive and Superman died, this wouldn't last long, this series. Because think of it, Batman, whatever, that's what I was thinking when I was reading. How come they don't get the magic people to teleport people outside to another dimension, or warp people to somewhere else, or this and that? I found all these solutions which Batman would actually thought of these things. Well, Superman's like, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, I got to save the people. Okay, you have to save the biggest percentage as possible. And that's what Batman would have the logical statistics of logic, how to solve this the fastest, the most efficient way possible. And that's why he got rid of him. And that's when you see Damien later on. It shows that he's just since he is his father's son, that they're both geniuses. And Damien, with time, Batman would have done that long time ago because of the age and experience before the time. So this thing is about what's called this Trigon involved in the whole series, okay? And as I said, I cannot talk amazing about it. It's the best money I ever wasted in my whole life. I can read this again and again. Before I did this podcast, I had to look through the book, and I'm trying to see if I forgot anything. And I wanted to read it again. And I just read it a couple months ago, and it's an enjoyment for myself. This is my taste there. It's the best book I haven't read in a long time. Sorry, because I talk too much. That's why. And that's why some of these alternative comic books of reality, where the writers have their free will, are the best, because they take chances. They do things that other people say, sorry about that, talk too much, right? You can't do this, you can't do that. Well, this one here, he has carte blanche. And in there, okay, example, like Constantine, the plan he has, everything is strategized perfectly to each character. That if you unchange these characters, like Tom Taylor has free will to do what he wants to do, and it makes sense how they will become, how the villains will become a superhero in a good way, how a superhero will change their strategy to win a fight, how people will go out of their way, they change their way because that's the only way they find a solution. Like Constantine, he ends up finding this plan is to get all the powers of the Greek gods. Okay, then he has the Lords of Order. Then he has the cloak of 100 cursed souls. Okay, then plus his magic. Then he has a crystal ball to see the future from the Mrs. Xanadu. Okay, and he's able to have help from the ancient gods and everything. And he's fighting against Trigon, and he still gets his ass whipped. See, that's what I like about Tom Taylor. All the gods are in here. He makes it realistic that's how powerful they are. Not like certain porn that, like Superman, he fights the dark side, but then after all of a sudden he needs all the Justice League to beat him. But Superman beat him alone. How come that happened? And then all of a sudden, Spectrum gets defeated by the Young Justice League. But then after he becomes like, He fights against a whole planet of apocalypse, and he ends up winning. It's like, where's the logic in this? Well, this one, since this is one writer, his path makes all sense. Like Mixapixlixi, whatever his name is, right? I can't pronounce his name, but the little elf from the fifth dimension. I thought it was the ninth dimension, but it was the fifth dimension. Okay, it shows how powerful he is. Like, he's not even scared of Ares, because he goes like he can actually say, goes, Ares, he's telling Ares, like, you're a grain of dust next to me. That's how powerful he is. And he fights against a Spectrum to show that they're equal. And Spectrum, in this universe, he makes everybody understand that he's one of the most powerful gods in the DC universes. So, he's more powerful than the Guardians, kind of said. He does an amazing job. I mean, if you're a first-time reader of comic books, this one here is perfect. It makes it easier to go to understand other superheroes, and maybe piss you off, because then when you end up reading Superman and Batman with other writers, creative team, you're like, oh my God, this makes sense. This makes sense. Because this guy master made it, okay? And it's already 11 minutes, So in there's Constantine, then there's Cassandra Cain. She ends up getting the Shazam power, and it shows what a badass she is, because she knocks out everybody. She fights like the Captain Marvel Jr., and she whipped his ass out because, let's example, male power to female power. Okay, so he's supposed to be more powerful than she is because it's a male, whatever. Okay, let's go that way. But she's a martial artist, assassin, killer of hand-to-hand to whatever it is. She demolished them. Certain point, like she almost like, she was fighting against Darkseid, like other people were helping her, but she doesn't need help. Because she's the most lethalest weapon that ever existed. That's why, example, when I say Zod against Superman, Zod is supposed to destroy Superman every time. Yeah, but the same power. Zod is a warrior. He's a soldier, not Superman. Superman, you probably knows then you learn from Batman hand-to-hand combat. Reasonable. Zod he's a general. That means this guy knows every rule in the book how to kill you. I'm more scared of the fighting with a Navy SEAL than a guy who does martial arts in a class. Because Navy SEAL, this guy, he knows. He got punch hit from his instructor because you have to be a soldier of war, This guy could kick my ass with one hand tied in the back and both legs tied up, So this whole storyline, there's all the DC Universe people are in there. I can talk this series for hours. And as I say, it's rated R because it's very realistic. The dialogues, the comedy sketches are amazing. I don't know if I'm repeating because I did this broadcast 4 or 5 times, and I'm always forgetting things that this is too important, that's too important. Captain Atom, and he gets exploded. But overall, there is so much storyline involved in this. It's who gets killed off. It's like you go, wow, he gets killed off. It's purely the best thing I've read in a long time, okay? But here's and then it was at a certain point at the end, the Frank, like I said, the big god Erebus, and when he gets destroyed and it comes into a new universe, and that's that dark zone there kind of sense, and Spectre, and I'm not gonna ruin there's a lot of spoiler alert, no, because I reread it, certain things, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's true, I forgot certain things, and it excited me again. So I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys, okay? But when Spectre goes into this new universe, he goes once in a while to see how it goes and everything. You see a nebula that looks like the bat signal, okay? And that has to all do with Damian, who ends up being the new Batman. And I like his character. They made him as, like, they call him the short Batman. But to me, I thought he would be in the big one, because there was a certain storyline from the past that Batman's future son ends up being a monster in size, strength. Like, Batman is like, if you think Batman was 6'1", 6'2", this guy is 6'5", 6'6", or even bigger than he was. Because don't forget, he's from his parents, Damian, are two perfect human form beings. Like Bruce Wayne, his father was a doctor and his mother was just a woman, example, like a nice, delicate, elegant, sweet, gorgeous, rich woman. Well, Damian has a mother who's an assassin, killer, trained to the martial art from perfection, and Batman is the same thing. So I find he should have been even more lethal. But Tom Taylor does everything, whatever. he's smart because he made Batman die first. Because if Superman would die first and Batman exists, this series won't last this long. Because Batman's a strategist. Because me at a certain point, like, that doesn't make sense. When did you do this? When did you do that? Like I'll say at this point, space arc. They create a space arc in this two places, right? To pull out, because they find it's a losing cause to fight, because they're losing, right? And they're planning to abandon, go to another planet and everything. Where do they find this planet first? Two, space arc. How are they able to do without anybody getting contaminated? Other superheroes, supervillains who are contaminated, destroy this arc or kill the superheroes or try to find pieces and all that. We're gonna find these pieces, or whatever. No, they could have went in a different route. My sense is like get a Green Lantern or whatever. They will open warp holes and everything to get spaceships are intact or from a scrapyard, and they'll advance more later on. That made more sense than superheroes doing themselves. Like, yeah, right. Then the other thing is, example, Superman. So important, he's contaminated, right? He's in the sun. He's absorbing the sun and everything. He has one arm cut off. And the Green Lanterns, because he ran off because he was all the Green Guardians who were there, Green Lanterns, and he knew he couldn't win the fight. So he ends up finding the best solution, the antimatter solution, is going to the sun. You're telling me you cannot find like mercenaries from all the universe that cannot kill Superman? Because in this one here, the Green Lanterns, their thing is still allergic to yellow, okay? Because the yellow sun, right? So get Lobo, get another assassin, or these humongous technology brainiac, whatever, that create a machine that fires a bullet, the kryptonite, right straight through his head while he's in the sun. That was my version, because you get rid of that, because that guy there is being contaminated. If he decides to contaminate the whole universe like this, he can do it. So you get rid of the biggest threat there existed. Even though, like that moment we didn't know there was going to be a cure, the solution is solve the solution right there, right then. What's the best solution for that moment? Then the other one is Captain Atom. When he gets contaminated by the atom, he ends up blowing his energy flow to the maximum and to blow up the whole as much from Washington. It went up to Metropolis when he blows up. Okay, so you have Superman and Wonder Woman holding him, trying to pull him more higher in the atmosphere so there's gonna be less damages. So when he does explode, Metropolis gets demolished like a war zone. Washington kind of disappear. But the thing is this way: Wonder Woman is not bulletproof. How the heck, when this guy blows up like, I don't know, maybe like 50 atomic bombs, she didn't evaporate it? And even Superman, I mean, Lex Luthor fires these little laser guns at him. It's it hurts, whatever. Or his villains and everything. Now this guy, he has the energy like I don't know, about 10, 20 years. Think of it. It's from the White House right up to New York, example. Because Metropolis is kind of New York. Or no, that's not true. That's Gotham. But anyways, whatever the radius is, I mean, you're talking about the explosion of the energy force and everything, and Superman is holding the Captain Atom away? No. Well, Superman should have been Wonder Woman should have been dead, and Superman should have been on a wheelchair, handicapped for life, blind and can't talk. His whole body is broken up, because forget it. That doesn't make sense. Also. And the other one is Superman's arm, because he lost his arm, right? So he put a bionic arm. And then he was able to punch the Guardians with that one through the green energy field and everything. Okay, that arm, I don't know about you, but it's not Kryptonian blood going through it. So how can that arm be any stronger than the original one? It's just metal, example. It's just attachment to his thing. Unless they made it more specific what happened. But anyways, these are my things that bothered me, in a sense, but it almost was close to perfection. But it is as perfect as it can be for a comic book. Look, 19 minutes, and I just scratched the tip of the iceberg. And I think there's 2 million things I can say about this thing. There's so much material in this comic book. It's ridiculously how well it's done. So for me, buy it. Oh my God! If you don't like, you don't have to spend a fortune on it. Get the hardcover. And you're in a drool, because this really, for myself, if you're into realistic comic book in a sense, this is the closest to realistic you can get. So I'm gonna stop here, because I can do this for 1 hour. I mean, finally I found a serious comic book that I actually can't wait to reread it again and again and again. And if I sell this, I'm buying a hardcover right away because when I'm dying, this thing I'm in a coffin and I'm holding this book. It's one of the best. Tom Taylor, you're amazing. The writings, the dialogue, each character comes alive in this comic book. Even people like the Cheetah and Bane and Creeper, people like I didn't care. The man that he made them everybody. Damien, I love this guy the way he's in here. Uh, it's phenomenal. Go for it. It's worth every cent of it. I mean, go with your own budget. Let's put it this way, okay? But then again, each your own. So this is my favorite. Doesn't mean you don't love it. If you're kind of the lollipop, Looney Tune and cranberry juice going through with the jelly beans and everything, ain't for you. Guys, so it's rated R. It's very realistic. So that's it. So subscribe, put your likes, tell me if you like it or not, And Steven does all these kind of things. He's very logical. He's very good at it. But to myself, and give me your opinion too, because for me, this is finally I got my money's worth. So that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go. G out and take care. Bye bye, guys.